Good day, good day, good day, good day, and welcome to the Impact Investing Show with your host Samuel ICanWin. Guys, it's episode 70, and we are moving through. Some of you who have been with us since episode 1, you know how deep, how strong, how long, how wise we've been sharing some insights and content with you guys. But come on, episode 70, guys, I am just kind of like in awe of the ability that we have had as a community. Not just me showing up, but every single one of us who have been pushing this forward in order for us to have this episode 70 going on. Guys, look, a great big thank you to every single person. Those of you who've let me know when you're winning, those of you who've been with us, those of you who have hit subscribe, those of you who've hit like, those of you who have become a part of our community. Guys, I appreciate you and we appreciate it. First and foremost, let me say welcome to the show. It's episode 70. Like I've said, this is the YouTube channel where you get creative property investing on demand. If you do not know what creative property investing is, let me give you some free keys to break it down. First thing is investing in property with little or none of your own money. Second thing is helping other people generate great returns from property as a vehicle. Third thing is using creative terms rather than funds in order to control and lock in property. Now, let's start today's episode with today's episode question. And it's a question that you might not be ready for. You might not even realize what this question has to do with the show, but I'm going to break it down for you later, as I usually do. Also, if you're watching and you haven't hit like and you know you're going to get value, hit that like button so you can get more keys in your life. All right, now let's jump straight back in. So what I want to ask you guys today on today's episode 70, landmark episode. Who knows what's happening next? I'll leave that out there for you guys. But basically, the question is, what is your favorite color? Now, some of you might be thinking, what is my favorite color? What's that got to do with the show? Guys, that is the question for today's show. What is your favorite color? And we're going to get into it in a short while, breaking down exactly why I'm asking you this question. But what is your favorite color? What is your favorite color? Okay, and that is going to become a paramount aspect in our show later on today as we talk about property investing. Now, if you want to go deeper, if you're one of those people who want to go deeper, you can also answer the question, and why? What is your favorite color and why? Now, let's jump in. What have we covered over the last couple of weeks? For those of you who have not been rocking with us, for those of you who have missed out, episode 69, which was last week's episode, last Saturday, episode 69, we did. And on episode 69, we covered the 3 big property myths. That was an explosive episode. If you have not seen episode 69, when this episode finishes, go watch episode 69, get that value in your bag so you can make sure that you get your finances in order using property as a vehicle. Side by side with that, episode 68, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about a simple secret about investing. I spoke to you guys about the income surfing secret, and I broke that down for you guys so you guys can understand exactly how you can start using that secret in order to move further, faster in your own property investing journey. Guys, go watch episode 68 when you get time and just take away all the value out of that episode. I'm telling you, that value is going to help you. And last but not least, in terms of my little recap, let's talk about episode 65. Episode 65, what I broke down was the next generation of property investing success. I spoke about the next generation, what they're doing, Generation Y as they're called, how they're moving forward in terms of their property vehicles and property engagement, and also how you could do exactly the same. I also broke down in that episode, I think episode 65 was an extremely powerful episode. I also went on to break down something very, very paramount, which was what we can learn from the next generation, but also what we can take from the next generation. Episode 65 was absolute fire. If you did not go and watch that episode, go and watch that episode. Now, great big welcome to all of you who are joining us brand new. If this is your first time on the Impact Show, let us know by writing the word new in the chat, NEW. All it takes is 3 letters for us to welcome you personally as a new member to the stream. So welcome to the live show if you are new. And if you're one of those people who've been rocking with me before, let me see the BHB in the chat for being here before. Let me see the BHB in the chat for being here before. And I know that we have a community of people that show up every single time we go live. Now, side by side with that, if you haven't said hi in the chat, whether you've been here before or whether you're new, Come on, we gotta be hospitable. This is the UK, okay? And if you're joining us from an international audience, if you're from the US of A, my people on the other side of the pond, or if you're in Africa, if you're in Asia, if you're in Malaysia, wherever you are in the continent, what I want to do, or on the globe, what I would like to do is welcome you to the show. So feel free to let me see the BHB in the chat. I got Ecosmios in the chat who says BHB. Welcome to the show, Ecosmios. Always a pleasure to have you on. Now, let's go deeper. Ooh, Mrs. ICanWin already has given us the answer to the question. Let me leave that on the screen. For those of you who don't know, the question for today is, what is your favorite color and why? What is your favorite color and why? So let us know in the chat and we'll bring that into today's show in a little bit. Now, as we're trucking forward in light of what we're speaking about for today's episode, what I would like to say to you guys, okay, just before we get into the deepness of the deep, let me just remind you, if you haven't hit like, if you haven't hit subscribe, you can do all of that. This is YouTube, so make YouTube feel welcome as well, guys. Don't just make me feel welcome, make YouTube feel welcome as well by doing all the stuff that YouTube asks for, all of that commenting, subscribing and liking. That level of engagement tells YouTube this content is good, and it decides to then share it with other people also. All right, so that's just me throwing that out there, letting you guys know. But like I said, I'm going to keep up Mrs. ICanWin's answer because I think that's really, really powerful. So guys, if you haven't answered already, let us know in the chat, what is your favorite color and why? Now, let's go straight into it. All right, I just want to give a great big shout out. As you can see, my nose is slightly running today. Not ideal, but let's give a great big shout out to every single person who's joining us live. We've got Ecosmios in the chat, we've got Mrs. ICanWin in the chat, and everyone else who's probably chatting as well whilst I'm not looking at that. Guys, let us know if you're in the chat. Let us know that you're saying hi. Let us know that you're new, if you're new, NEW, or let us know that you've been here before with the BHB, and we will continue to welcome you. Now, slight mention, if you would like to ask questions on the show, we've had a slight change in terms of how we do things. Links in the description. You can go through to the link in the description in order to donate, and if you decide to make a donation, your questions will be prioritized. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. Feel free to do that. Feel free to use this platform to your advantage in order to take full advantage of all of the value that we give you guys. And look, listen guys, I'm going to say this as well, keep the engagement up on the show. Keep the engagement up on the show. The live chat is an environment for you guys to speak. It's an environment for you guys to connect. It's an environment for you guys to commune. Okay, and that's what we want to happen in the live chat. We want that to become a vibrant community where every single person from the community who's tuning in can basically connect, speak, share about what's going on in terms of their property journey, and just allow that to resonate with one another, with each other, and allow the channel to grow because people are connecting. All right, so this is what we want you guys to be able to do. Now, today's show. The question is, what are we going to be covering on today's show? Today's show, we're talking about when property deals go wrong. Okay, someone throw that in the chat for me because it's going to be extremely powerful. When property deals go wrong. Okay, now it's interesting because when property deals go wrong, someone might synonymize with when a live show starts to go wrong. Okay, for example. All right, I'm kidding with you guys, but the point I want you to understand is when property deals go wrong, what do you do? When property deals go wrong, how do you deal with them? When property deals go wrong, how do you manage that scenario and that situation? Now, later on in the show, I'm going to speak to you guys about someone who reached out to me since we've been doing the show, since we've been having these 70 episodes or such, who was basically going through some problems in their property journey. I'm going to share a little bit about that lady's drama and her scenario and situation, just so that people in the chat will know how real this is. But when property deals go wrong, the question is, what do you do? Okay, what do you do? So what I'm going to do in today's show, I'm going to start by defining a term which I think is very, very relevant, very, very important, and crucial effectively for us in terms of our property journey to think about. And not only to think about, but to understand how we can utilize that to move further, faster in our journeys. Okay, so if you're ready for that, let me see ready to go in the chat. Let me see ready to go in the chat whilst I pour myself a drink. Let me see ready to go in the chat. Are you guys ready, or you're not ready? If you're not ready, tell me you're not ready equally, and I can be like, okay, they're not ready. They're not ready. But let me know, guys, if you are ready to go. Okay, because I feel like I'm ready to go. So let's see if we're ready to go. Because if we're ready to go, we'll jump straight in to today's episode. When property deals go wrong. When property deals go wrong. Guys, what do you do when property deals go wrong? Who do you call? See, this is one of the things that I find so interesting. Let me even say /funny, okay, about property. Property isn't one of those scenarios where we can just say, who are you going to call? I'm calling Ghostbusters. I want you to understand that. You see, when property deals go wrong, who are the Ghostbusters that you are going to call? Okay? When property deals don't go how you expected, who are the cavalry that you're going to call in? Because what many people don't realize is there's other areas of your life where there might be a cavalry. But when it comes to property investing, who's the cavalry? Who are you going to call when it doesn't go right? Tell me. Let me know in the chat. Who are you going to call when property investing doesn't go right? For me, this is one of the reasons I spent a long time learning property strategy. This is one of the reasons I spent a long time studying creative property investing from multiple coaches in Australasia, Australia specifically, coaches in the United States of America, as well as coaches in the UK. Why did I spend so much time developing my property investing education? Guys, it was simple. It was because I started to understand very quickly that I didn't want to be that person who was in no man's land when I needed help. I didn't want to be that person who didn't know what to do when I needed to move forward in my property investing journey. I didn't want to be that person who had a problem when I knew that it wasn't time to have a problem. And guys, I want to encourage you. All right. I want to encourage you to really think about that in your own property journey. Now, we got Mrs. ICanWin in the chat who says ready to go. So let's jump straight in. Today, we're going to be talking about what happens when property deals go wrong. And in order to get us started, I'm going to share with you guys the definition of a word. This word is due diligence, or this term is due diligence. And the reason I want to share this with you is because I want you guys to understand how important this is to when property deals do go wrong, and why property deals in many cases actually go wrong. And they shouldn't go wrong, but they do go wrong. From time to time, they do go wrong. There's people who, as we say, buy a lemon. There's people who get it wrong. And the question is, why do they get it wrong? Why do they buy a lemon? You know, and it's not challenging. It's not crazy stuff. It's usually a simple thing. It's usually just because of the simple fact that the due diligence might have been off. Or even if it wasn't the due diligence that was off, maybe their timing was off. Or if their timing wasn't off, maybe it was something else that was off. But a lot of the time, people are surprised to find out that one small thing can make a massive difference. Let me say that again. A lot of the time, people are surprised, astounded, shocked to find out that one small thing can make a massive difference. I'm going to contend today with you guys, as my favorite audience, that there's one thing that is that small thing that makes the massive difference. One thing, not 100 things, not 20 things, not 40 things. Let me tell you something. I've got a resource called 101 Property Sourcing Secrets. If you understand 100 more things about property, that will help you radically. But I can guarantee you, it's going to be just one of those secrets that take you to the real next level. It's not going to be all 100. This is why sometimes I say to people, look, if you can get value, if you can get resource, if you can get an audience with someone who can share with you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 secrets in the niche that you're in the field that you're in the sector you're in, I'm guaranteeing you things will change for you. Because a lot of the time, you don't need the 100, you don't need the 80, you don't need the 99. A lot of the time, you just need the one. A lot of people don't realize that. Look, I'm going to get our baseball cap and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean, because I want you guys to understand this. All right, guys, stick with me. I'm going to be right back. I'm back. I've got it. I'm back. I've got it. Guys, this exemplifies the exact message that I'm sharing with you guys. This cat, okay, exemplifies exactly what I was sharing. Sometimes we think it takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100 messages in order for us to move to the next level. Sometimes. But most of the time, the reality is it only takes one. And it's the same with your wealth. And this is why we promote this concept, one seller away. Because that's how far you actually are from, breakthrough success in your property game. You're just one seller away. There's going to be one seller who says yes to a transaction, to a deal. Look at me. I look like one of the NBA players when they're being drafted. I'm in the draft pick, guys. Hopefully I was drafted number 1, but who knows? Anyway, guys, that's what it is a lot of the time. It's just one thing. So let's jump in. Due diligence. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the definition of due diligence, and from there we are going to be rocking in with all the lessons I've got prepared for you guys on today's show. Due diligence. What is due diligence all about? You guys let me know as well in the chat. What do you think due diligence is all about? So right here, the definition I pulled up, it says due diligence is reasonable steps. Okay, and I want to say that word again. I want to emphasize that word because some people don't realize that first word is key. Reasonable steps taken by a person to avoid committing a tort or an offense. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. Reasonable steps. You see, a lot of people don't realize that it just takes sometimes some reasonable steps. It doesn't take 100 things, 1,000 things. But equally, sometimes when it comes to due diligence, it takes a little bit more than what a lot of people are willing to actually do, or what a lot of people are willing to put in. And this is something you've got to bear in mind, because you don't want to be that person who doesn't take the reasonable steps and then ends up with your property deals going wrong. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's show. Reasonable steps taken by a person to avoid committing a tort or offense. It goes deeper and says a comprehensive appraisal. So we've gone from reasonable to comprehensive. Now let me share this with you for you to understand. Due diligence only ends up on that scale. If you've done anything else, all you've done is shown an interest. Okay, hopefully that helps someone. Okay, due diligence only shows up on that scale. And when I say that scale, what I'm talking about is from reasonable checking to comprehensive checking. So if you say you've done your due diligence, what you mean is you've either done enough reasonable checking or you've done comprehensive checking. You have to be in that arena. Because if all you've done is thought about it, if all you've done is taken the word of an estate agent or taken the word of a property sourcer or taken the word of someone who's spoken to you, let me assure you, you haven't done reasonable. Okay, so you definitely haven't done comprehensive. And I want you to be very aware of that, because that's what makes the biggest difference. Reasonable steps. Okay, by a person to avoid committing a tort or offense. And then it goes on to say a comprehensive appraisal of a business. Okay, so a property may be considered as a business, a specific individual property, or that property will be adding to your business. So therefore your business may need to be appraised as you take on appraised, or due diligence may need to be done as you take on a new property asset. A comprehensive appraisal of a business undertaken by a prospective buyer, especially to establish its assets and liabilities and evaluate its commercial potential. By commercial potential, it doesn't mean we're talking about commercial property necessarily. The potential of something commercially just means its ability to generate wealth, its ability to make money. When we talk about commercial, we're talking about its money-making activity, its money-making ability, okay? So this is saying basically that due diligence is all about a singular spectrum, and that spectrum starts with reasonable and ends with comprehensive, or goes into the realm of comprehensive. Let's use that rather than ends with comprehensive. Now, how do you do due diligence? Okay, that's what I'm interested in asking you guys as our televised live audience. Okay, how do you do due diligence? How do you do it? What kind of steps do you do to do due diligence if you're buying a house, for example? Let's talk about buying property today more than anything else. So how do you do your due diligence? Let me know in the chat. Those of you who are live, let me put the live chat on. Let me bring my live family on, my live YouTube family. Let me bring you guys on. So let me know, guys. And again, if you haven't hit that like button, if you haven't pressed subscribe, if you have not hit the bell, you know what to do. So guys, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let's fill this chat up, guys. That's how I know that we're getting a reasonable amount of engagement. Okay. But let me know in the chat. How do you do due diligence? How do you do due diligence? Okay. Whilst you guys are telling me that, I'm going to tell you about someone that I know. Okay, shared this earlier on in the episode and said to you guys I'll speak about this. So there was a specific lady who reached out to me. I knew this lady from my networking event. Those of you who know, I used to host one of the largest property networking events in the whole of the UK. That event would attract 100+ people every single month, and we used to host that meeting in Canary Wharf. And there was a particular lady who I met through that community, through that networking event, etc. And this particular lady reached out to me during these live show sessions. So this was after the lockdown of 2020. And she reached out to me and basically said to me, look, Samuel, she bought a house. It's up north, had it for a number of years. Bad tenants, okay? And as a result of the bad tenants, just dramas happening. Like drama after drama after drama after drama after drama. And she didn't know how to deal with it. She didn't know what to do with it. So she called in order to get some strategy from me. And again, I'll share with you guys later on if you're interested in connecting with me, how you can do that. So she reached out to me, shared with me the issues she was having, terrible tenants and all the other lots of issues she was having. Specifically, okay, and some of you who've been rocking with us for the 70 episodes, you might have seen one of the emails that she sent me at one time, which I actually brought on the show, asked for her permission, and she was like, yeah, you can share it with the community, because she jumps on this show as well. And one of the things that basically occurred for her or transpired for her was that she had a tenant in the house who she didn't give the property to. She tenanted the house with the council, basically. Think of it like that. So she gave the house to the council. The council gave the house to this particular individual, and this particular individual was said to have some level of disability. Okay, I don't know if mental health came into it. I believe mental health did come into it, but nonetheless, let's say we're speculating that aspect. But the person had some level of disability. Now, let's go deeper. So from this person having some level of disability, what basically transpired is the person started to trash the house. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because it happens, guys, unfortunately, but it happens. The person began to trash the house and basically put the house into a large situation of disrepair. And through means of this person doing this, destroying the house, putting the house in a bad situation of disrepair, what basically happened is this lady didn't know what to do, okay? Now, the situation wasn't that bad. Why wasn't the situation that bad, guys? Why wasn't the situation that bad? Let me know in the chat if you know why the situation wasn't that bad. Because there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, which for most landlords, the situation ain't that bad until that happens, okay? What do you think that is, guys? Okay? The situation weren't that bad because they were paying the rent. And then they stopped. So when they stopped, what do you think happened then? You see, this is when the landlord got involved. This is when the landlord started to realize, oh my gosh, her house is in disrepair. This is when the landlord and her partner started to say to themselves, what are we going to do? Let's reach out to the council. Oh my gosh. So they reached out to the council, and the council, surprisingly to some, were not very helpful. Okay, now this is one of the challenges that people have when they actually work with the council in terms of renting properties out. Okay, one of the large challenges that people have when they rent out properties through means of the council is the fact that many councils, not all councils, but many councils are what we call disjointed. And because they're disjointed, by virtue of that fact, what it means is that you have one department which are housing people and another department which are regulating properties. So by that, what I mean is your licensing departments, your planning departments, etc. Some of those of you who are tuned into the show today, who are more advanced investors, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, because of the fact that this house was in a state of disrepair, and because of the fact that it was not just internally within the house where there was disrepair, there was also external disrepair going on. What basically happened next, okay, you don't even want to know this. Do you want to know this, guys? Let me know. I want to know. Let me see. I want to know in the chat. Let me see what happened. Let me see if you want to know what happened. Let me see. I want to know in the chat. Let me see, guys. Whilst I continue to drink my drink. Let me know if you want to know, guys. Let me know if you want to know what happened next. So quite simply, they stopped paying the rent. KTR says, I want to know. I see you, KTR. Welcome to the show. Great to have you on again. E Cosmeo says, I want to know. Love the emoji. Thank you, Ecosmios. We appreciate you. Also, Kimwen says, want to know. Love this, guys. Love this, guys. You guys are ready to go on today's show. So basically, they stopped paying the rent. And let me tell you what happened next. The council began to enforce on the landlord. Okay? They started to write the landlord letters. They started to say to the landlord, hey, you've got a house in our area which is in disrepair. Hey, you've got to sort it out. Hey, we give you until to sort it out. Hey, you got a problem. Hey, you're a bad landlord. Hey, all of that stuff. So they began to create a problem for the landlord. Now for me, I kind of knew something like this could happen. Like, it just makes sense, because why wouldn't it happen if the person's in the specific situation? And for those of you who were with us at the beginning of the show, you know we already defined due diligence. And if due diligence isn't done, if due diligence isn't taken, then people could end up in a situation where they get enforced on. So long story short, they began to enforce. And guys, look, I'm loving that engagement. Let's keep it up. All right, let's keep it up. That's what makes the show go round. So they began to enforce on this lady and basically say to her, look, you got to sort the property out. You've got this amount of time, make it happen. And this is where the woman basically hit her wit's end. Because this lady tried to communicate with the renter, with the specific tenant. They were non-cooperative. This lady then tried to communicate with the council, the specific department that actually she had rented the house to. And they, surprisingly again, were non-cooperative. So what basically happened, and this has happened before, there's a lot of people who can testify that have been through this situation. And this is why I'm so passionate about doing what I do. This is why I'm so open to helping you guys. And guys, let me know, those of you in the chat, do you want us to run another masterclass? Do you want us to keep running masterclasses? Because I know a lot of people get value from the masterclasses we run, and I've just been asking in the last couple of weeks, would you like us to run a masterclass? I know a couple of weeks ago I asked, a few people said yes. Let me know with the audience we have on episode 70 if you guys would like us to run a masterclass in the next couple of weeks, because I'm interested in doing that. I'm open to doing that. And in that masterclass, I'll share with you guys probably what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this year in order to make sure I guarantee and keep winning in my property game. Now, the lady came to her wit's end. She said to herself, you know what? I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. So she reached out to me. She gives me a call, okay? Or she books a call, gives me a call. And from giving me a call, she says, look, Samuel, this is the situation. And she outlines to me exactly what I've just outlined to you. Now, the reality is, as she's telling me this, one thing in the back of my mind is due diligence would have prevented all of this. Okay, due diligence would have prevented all of this. But at the same time, it's not an I told you so moment. It's not an I told you so life. It's not an I told you so thing. It's just, okay, I recognize that due diligence could have solved this. But that's okay. We keep on moving, you know, because we don't live in isolation of one situation and scenario. So that was what happened. Now, I want to ask a question from you guys. And this is the question to you guys. Who is to blame? That's what I want to know. Who's to blame? Okay, is the landlord to blame? Is the council to blame? Is the tenant to blame? Let me know who is to blame. Or is the government to blame? Is the society to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Okay, who is to blame? I'm just interested in asking that question. Let me even ask a few other things. Is it because they don't make this recommended reading in schools that someone's to blame? Is it? I don't know. Who's to blame, guys? Is it because it's not compulsory for teachers to read this? This is the Think and Grow Rich book. Is that the reason why? You know, who's to blame? Ecosmios, there you go with some fire. Guys, let me know in the chat, guys. Who's to blame? Ecosmios says all of the above are to blame. Okay? All of the above. Who's to blame, guys? Let me know. Who's to blame? You know, you could be one of those people. I don't blame anyone. I'm not blaming anyone. Okay, but are you doing your appropriate due diligence? That's my question then. Because people who don't want to blame anybody are people who don't want to find out the facts. And you need to find out the facts sometimes. Sometimes you need to say, you know, these are the facts. Unfortunately or fortunately, these are the facts. So let me know, guys, who's to blame? Who do you think's to blame? Let me know who's to blame. Oh my gosh, KTR comes in. She says, yes, everyone. Thank you, KTR. Love that comment. Yes, everyone. Listen, guys, due diligence is the name of the game. Let's go further, okay? This is even funny because today's episode 70, one of the things I was going to share with you guys was an article, okay, which I found, which was actually about a family in Kent, just south of London. And funnily enough, okay, this is what's so funny about this article. They've taken the article down, guys. Samuel ICanWin has a show, and he's got an article he wants to present, and they take it down. You know why they took it down? Probably because what I was going to talk about on today's show. ICanWin says the council is to blame, the tenant, the landlady. Here we go. Cosmios goes in. We got the essay now. Cosmios says the council has a duty of care, but a landlord could have done more due diligence. As for the tenant, they need to see their social worker, healthcare person more frequently. I totally agree. I think they need to see more than that. You know, I think and if we was in the US, they'd say they need to see a shrink. Okay. They need to see a shrink, a psychiatrist. Okay. They need to get some help. And I totally agree with that. I think they definitely do need to get some help. I think they definitely do need to get some help. Let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know in the chat. If you've got more comments, let me know in the chat what your thoughts are, guys, because I think this is extremely interesting, which is why I shared it with you. So, you see, my question when I thought about this situation is, who's the real victim when this stuff happens? Like, who's the real victim? Are the council the victims? Because they're enforcing, say, look, we got a property in our borough which we're not happy with. We got a property in our city. We're not happy with what's going on with that property. Are the council the victim? Okay. Let us know. Actually, let's say this. If you're watching on a replay, comment below. Let us know. If you're with us live, again, comment in the chat. The chat's right here. Comment in the chat. Who is the real victim in all this? Who's the victim? Who's the victim? I'm interested. For those of you with me in the live audience, let me know who's the real victim. For those of you who are watching on replay, let us know in the chat. What do you think? Who's the real victim here in the scenario that we're talking about? Who's the real victim? So the reason I was interested in finding out who the real victim is because this article that I read from the Kent Online website, and those of you who, again, who tuned into the show earlier, so I know we got an audience of people. Some people check out, is Samuel going to go live on Saturday at 7 again? So those people who check, is Samuel going to go live Saturday at 7 early? A lot of the time they can see the video. They'll see the thumbnail of the video coming up. So they would have already known that today we're talking about what happens when property deals go wrong. And if they knew what we were talking about in terms of what happens when property deals go wrong, what could they potentially do? Well, what they could do is they could say, okay, look, let me have a quick check in the description. And if they looked in the description, they would have seen the article that was taken down. But the article is still in the description, guys. Okay. The article is still in the description. It's just, it's not up anymore. And if you guys want to see it, I can show you. Let's just go to it, even though it's not. Let's do that, because I think it just makes sense to do that and show you guys. So they took the article down, and I don't really know why. Okay. But like I said, I'll show you guys just because I like being faithful to my community. And as you can see, it says, sorry, the article you have requested is no longer available. So let me tell you what happened in this article, because I'm sure you're probably keen to know. I'm sure you're probably thinking, Samuel, you're guiding about this article which they've taken down. What happened? So this is what happened. I'm going to read to you the summary headline, okay, just so you guys have an idea of exactly what happened. And remember, we're talking about who's the victim, okay? I've already got a lot of comments coming through. So guys, those of you who are commenting, thank you. Appreciate it. Keep it up. Let's keep the engagement high on the show. Okay, let's keep the engagement high on the show. And guys, those of you who are praying people, my praying family, be praying for me, please. Okay, I don't want to have a runny nose, so keep me in your prayers. All right, I know the Lord can make a move. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, so keep me in your prayers, guys. So let's jump in. So I'm gonna give you guys the headline of the article, so you guys can see exactly what the article is about, or at least you'll get an overview of what it was about. Okay. Okay, left my handkerchief today. All right, it says family forced out of a flood hit home weeks after moving in. A family has been left living in a hotel after floods swept the specific area in Kent. Excuse me. Now, guys, why is this so interesting? Why is this so powerful? Why is this so paramount? I'm going to start sharing with you exactly why. Okay. First reason is this. This specific family in this specific article were actually positioned and presented and portrayed as, some innocent family. They were actually presented and portrayed as though they had been hoodwinked, they had been deceived. Okay. And look, if it was estate agents that deceived them, this is Samuel ICanWin, guys. This is the Impact Show. You know what we're here for. So, let's just leave our comments about estate agents for right now, who we dearly love. But the point is, if they were wrongly advised, that's okay. Okay, that is obviously, it's not a positive thing, but it's okay. It's like we can get over that if they were wrongly advised. However, what did we say earlier, guys? The 2 D's, due diligence. Why do so many property deals go wrong for so many people? It's because they don't do their due diligence. They don't do something that's reasonable, and they definitely don't get into the comprehensive. Okay, and I just want to share that with you because it's reality, guys. You will know somebody, I guarantee you will know somebody who's lost a property. Last week, episode 69, I spoke about my friend who's a very well-known social media influencer, and I spoke about how he hates property investment. He literally, I think I can say the word hates. I think I can say it that strong. I shared with you guys last week about how anytime I've ever brought up property, or anytime someone's brought up property around him, he just shuts the conversation down or just goes into some kind of like cocoonic phase where it's like he's embryonic. He just can't speak about it. And again, like I shared in last week's episode, I asked him, I was like, yo, why you got this issue with property? Like, why you don't ever like talking about property? And he said, look, his mom and dad owned 2 rental properties, and from owning those rental properties, they had bad tenants. Bad tenants didn't pay the rent. They weren't able to pay their mortgages. They lost their property. So he's had a bad experience. Okay. He's not the only person. Other people have had bad experiences. Bad experiences come. But one of the big ways that they come is when people don't do their due diligence. And we should know that. We should know that because we're property investors. We're people investing. So we should have an idea and an understanding that sometimes things go wrong. But we shouldn't be the people who things are going wrong for because of the fact that we didn't do what was reasonable, and going further to not doing what was reasonable because of the fact that we definitely didn't do anything that was comprehensive. Okay? And guys, I want you to understand this because I don't want you to be hoodwinked. I don't want you to be deceived. I don't want you to be thinking, oh, why did that happen to me? The only reason it's going to happen to you is if you don't do your due diligence. The only reason it's going to happen to you is if you don't do your due diligence. And this is why you've got to do your due diligence. This is why you've got to know what you're doing. Okay? And there's some stuff we haven't even really gone into in today's episode, which I'm going to bring up in a moment. But guys, I'm telling you, you've got to do your due diligence. Also, ICanWin says in the chat that the landlady is actually the victim. We see here also ICanWin goes on to say, but the tenant shouldn't live in a poor accommodation. And this is very, very true. These are good points. Very pertinent and important points. Okay? But guys, I want you to understand how this stuff works. Due diligence is essential. Due diligence must be done. And due diligence isn't the kind of thing you leave to someone else to do. Due diligence is what you have to do. It's your reasonable service, if that makes sense. So this is why I'm banging on about this today, because I want you guys to have that really dialed in, really clearly understood. You've got to do your due diligence. Woo, I knew it was going to come out at some point. There you go. All right, let's keep going, guys. So this news article about this family in Kent basically broke down that they were in a position where they had bought a house, excuse me, and soon after buying a house, bless me, soon after buying a house, weeks after moving in, they were basically evacuated from the house. And, excuse me, guys, the article went on. We were close. The article went on to basically explain that their house was flooded, swept with floods. Now, the thing we need to understand when we come across these situations is who is the victim. Like also ICanWin shared in the scenario that we had a moment ago, in the story that I shared about one of the viewers, maybe the landlord is the victim, the landlady, maybe she's the victim. Maybe she's not the victim. Thank you also ICanWin. I get my bless you in the chat. I love that. That's how you know you're part of a community, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. So the landlady may be deemed as the victim. The tenant may be deemed as the victim. Why did they have to live in a house that is not to a right standard? Equally, the council have tried to paint themselves a victim by saying, hold on a minute, this house is in disrepair, it's in our borough, you need to fix it. So many people taking the role, or could take the role and position of a victim. But what I want you to understand is this. This article about the family in Kent was rightly positioned. And this was one of the reasons I wanted to share on the episode 70. It was rightly positioned to help us understand how so many people are positioned as victims when they're not actually victims. And because they're positioned as victims, what happens is we end up in our country a lot of the time, and sometimes in the world, in the globe, with what we call a victim mentality, where we just think, oh, it went wrong, but it wasn't my fault. Listen, did you do the reasonable or the comprehensive due diligence? That's my question. When I read the article I'm speaking about, like I said, links in the description, family forced out of flood hit home weeks after moving in. A family has been left living in a hotel after floods swept their home. What you need to understand is the article positioned the family as naive buyers, naive movers into this house. But what you have to understand, and listen, I don't know this family personally. This is not me trying to insult them. This is not me trying to insult anyone. This is me just trying to share facts with my community and our community for you guys to understand. As creative cash flow investors, I just want you guys to understand the way I think about things. Did they do their due diligence, or did they just say, oh, but the estate agent didn't tell me there was a flood risk? Oh, but the estate agent didn't tell me there was a flood risk. Oh, but my solicitor didn't tell me there was a flood risk. Listen, why don't you go and get a flood survey done? That might just be reasonable. One of the things that really made me laugh about the article is how they started to say it was godlike floods. Okay, if you've been reading the Bible, you only need to get into the first book, Genesis. You'd realize that must not have been godlike floods, because in the book of Genesis we read about a little man named Noah, and we see what godlike floods are. So it was quite interesting reading the news article and them saying, using terms like it was a godlike flood. But the point is, anyway, guys, you see, a lot of the time people are made to be the victim, and because they're made to be the victim, they don't get out of their own victim mentality and start to be the people that actually go and get the research done and go and actually do the due diligence, which is very important. It's essential that we do the due diligence, because the due diligence is what makes the biggest difference. The due diligence is what shifts us and takes us from where we're at to where we want to be. So let's keep going. Let's keep tracking. I've got a few other things for you guys. Those of you who are in a position and they're saying to themselves, you know what, I need to do more due diligence. I got property deals I'm looking at. I haven't really known what I'm doing, etc, etc, etc. Link in the description, and now link in the chat. If you would like myself or one of my team of coaches to help you with strategy on deals you're looking at, use the link in the chat. impactproperties.co.uk/booking, impactproperties.co.uk/booking. And one more time for my people who are all the way in the back, impactproperties.co.uk/booking. Now, by using that link, you will get the opportunity to speak with a coach, an experienced property investment coach, who can highlight to you aspects and areas of due diligence that should be done, who can share with you their intuition as well as insights around whether or not the specific deal you're looking at is profitable, helpful, worthy of your time. Someone who can theorize with you the profit, pros, cons, and potential mistakes that could occur on the kind of project you're doing. All right. Now, if that's value, okay, if that's value, write the word value in the chat. Write the letter V in the chat. Okay. Because this is what we do, guys. We're out here to help people. Now, strategy calls are charged. Coaching calls are charged. But let me tell you something. It is better to pay £1,000 and have a conversation with someone for an hour and not have to be evacuated from your property a few weeks after. Oh, guys, you're going to start making me laugh whilst I'm feeling like this. You see, I want you guys to understand exactly how this works. This is the way the world works. Most of you guys who are like me, who are mature enough, have now realized in life, you know what? I need to pay up front so I don't pay at the back. But some people are still so naive, maybe because they lack experience in property or lack experience in things in life generally, that they still think that, you know what, I don't need to pay up front. I'm going to just work this thing out. YouTube and me are married. Like, let me tell you something. You can marry YouTube. You can marry YouTube. You can get a lot of information from YouTube. And I'm going to be very open, okay? Because I'm here. I'm on YouTube. So I wouldn't be on YouTube if I didn't believe that this is a great platform to share information. But I want you to understand this, especially if you're part of our community, especially if you're someone who's rocking with us, someone who's, you know, gone on our boot camps, someone who's jumped on our webinars before. Like, if you're someone who's in this community, even just our live YouTube community, I want you to be the kind of person who's aware of what I'm talking about. Listen, there is information. And there's a lot of information out there. We live in the information age. And to be honest with you, sometimes I say to people, I don't even think you need to pay for information. Okay? Write that down. That's a good note to write down. Samuel ICanWin said, I don't even think you need to pay for information. You should write that down. Okay? When you've written that down, just write in the chat written. Okay? Written. Let me know. Because I want to know that we're together on this one. I want to know that we're together on this one. Let me just see it written. Okay, write in the chat the word written the moment you guys are with us. Written. All right, because what a lot of people don't realize is that there are levels to what we're talking about. There are so many levels, but I just don't want to be that person who starts dropping some hard bombshells on today's show. So I'm gonna be easy. I'm gonna be easy. I know you guys don't even want the bombshells today. But this is the point I'm making, all right? Because I want you guys to understand this. When you mature, you start to realize that it's better for you to pay up front when you know the price, when you know the cost, and when you know the value. Okay? Now, these three things are three different things. The price, okay, is what people are asking you to pay. The cost is what it potentially will cost you otherwise. And the value is the impact it has for you. Okay. And again, guys, I'm sharing with you guys right now the stuff I teach my 12-month coaching clients. So if you're not getting value, I don't know what you're doing. Let's just put that banner back on. You guys need to start hitting that bell or something. Okay. There's a difference between the price, the value, and the cost. Now, when you mature, you start to realize, you know what? It makes sense for me to pay the price of a workshop. I'll give you an example. Okay, I had this young lady who came to one of our workshops and she spent the whole day with us. She bought a VIP ticket. I think she bought a VIP ticket. So those live events, what I would do is in our VIP section, I would do private Q&As for them at lunchtime, etc., and after the sessions. Okay. Thank you, KTR. She's with us today. She's rocking with us today. All right. So in those live events, one of the things that we would do is we'd basically have an opportunity for people to ask questions. Okay. So this young lady, she came to the event, she paid for a VIP ticket, went through the whole event quiet, didn't ask any questions. I was actually shocked and surprised because she just came across like the kind of person who'd be asking a whole bunch of questions. She didn't ask anything throughout the whole event. And this young lady actually had my number. I think she had my number. She had some way of contacting me, definitely. But long story short, yes, she had my number because it was WhatsApp. So this is what happened. So long story short, the event ended, okay? After the event ended, she left just before like the end of the event. So let's say the event ended at 6 p.m. She left like 5:15, for example. And she messages me that night, okay? And the message read something like this. Hey, Samuel, apologies. I had to rush off, had to jump on my train, had to catch my train. She was going to another city. She was leaving London. The event was in London. She said, I just wanted to tell you that the price of your live event was nothing compared to the amount of value that I took. She then went on to say, which is why I brought this up, which was even more value than I got from a course I did for £2,995. Okay. Now, when she sent that message, I was not surprised. Okay, because again, remember what we're talking about in today's episode. Today, we're talking about when property deals go wrong. I want you to understand this. I wasn't surprised when she sent that because I thought to myself, you know what? The reason why is because whoever you pay £2,995, they were probably more interested in trying to get you on their next program. So that's probably why they didn't give you all the value. That's probably why they didn't pour it all out for you. You see, I made a decision a long time ago that I'm all about impact over income. So as a direct byproduct of that, what that basically means is I'm going to be giving you guys value whether you pay me or not. Now, the people who are mature like me, because I do this, okay? Even last month, I signed up for a brand new £30,000 coaching program. Okay, why did I do that? Well, the reason I did that is because I know exactly what I'm sharing with you guys. I know that it makes more sense to pay up front so you can know what the cost is, so you get to make the decision rather than ending up in a situation where you don't get to make the decision. All right, so KTR's comments on the screen. KTR says, we don't need to pay for information. She's written it. So let me break this down for you now. I've just shared with you what happened with the young lady who came to our event. One of the young ladies who came to our event shared with you what she said about the price, about the value, and about the cost. Because let me tell you what the cost is. If you go pay someone £2,995 to learn how to invest in property, but there's someone out there who you can connect with, a Samuel ICanWin, who's going to give you way more value for the price of a live event, the point I want you to understand is there is a cost disparity there, because what you've just done now is you've invested money that you could have used to go to the next level with people who aren't trying to take you to the next level. Hope that makes sense to someone. Somebody just needs to write amen in the chat, because I just think that is just something you got to agree with. Well, you don't have to agree, but I think the people in our community would agree with that. Now, let me go back into what I was sharing, which KTR has so eloquently written down, because I want to help you guys with this. Okay, let me pick a year. As of around 2000 and I'd say 17. For me, I'd say 17. Maybe it was earlier. Maybe 2014. Okay, so I'm not speaking about myself. I'm just speaking about my ability to observe. Okay, but I believe that as of around 2014, the year 2014, we haven't needed to pay for information. That's my opinion. Okay, now you can have a different opinion. That's fine. That's why we're all here. I love you still. Okay, but my opinion is that as of 2014, the year 2014, you as a human being have not had to pay for information. Okay. If you pay for information from the year 2014, you do that because you want to. You do that because you think it's the right thing to do. You do that because you'd like to, okay? Listen, guys, let me break this down. You know, some people run free webinars. You know, some people give free ebooks. I've got a free ebook I give away to people. I've got a free book recommendation list I give away to people. When I run webinars, a lot of the time, I don't think I've ever done a paid webinar. So when I do masterclasses or webinars, I think I've done paid masterclasses, but not webinars. But again, webinars, masterclasses, events. Let me tell you something. The point I'm trying to make is, we live in a day and age where I feel like for a number of years, for me, from my observation, I would say probably from around 2014, we haven't had to pay for education. We not education, excuse me. Let me use the word properly so you guys know where I'm going with this. You haven't had to pay for information. Okay? Like I said, some people still pay for information, but you don't have to pay for information because the information is out there. Now, let me tell you what I believe from way before 2014, but for me, from my observation, from around the year 2014, it was very, very apparent what you do need to pay for. Three things. One, organized information. Okay, let me tell you something. Information and organized information are two completely different things. I'm going to say that one more time because I know I got some smart people with me. Information and organized information are two completely different things. Let me tell you something. We are on episode 70 of the Impact Show. There is 70 episodes of information on the internet from our channel in terms of the live shows alone. But let me tell you something. For most people, that's not going to change their life. For most people, that's not going to even have a positive impact. For most people, let me tell you something. Most people are not going to engage with that information to the degree that they could. Now, let me help you with something else though, just so you understand. If we organize that information, and from organizing that information, we said to you guys, hey guys, we are about to release a book. Okay? And we said, this book we're about to release is going to share with you 70 different powerful insights about property investing like an expert. You see, this now is something completely different because now you have a resource that you can open up. You can take your pen. You can take your highlighter. You can write notes inside. Now we have an organized set of information which you can devour and change your life with. Somebody say amen in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. My thought process and my strong belief is that we have not had to pay for information probably even from before 2014, but for me, from my observation, from around the year 2014, what we have had to pay for is the organization. I've got Mandy in the chat. She gives me that amen. I'm feeling it. Listen, guys, this is what we've had to pay for. Let me tell you something. This is why people join my boot camp. They don't join my boot camps because there's information out there somewhere in the world. No, they join the boot camp because they know Samuel is going to provide me with organized information. He's going to give me a step-by-step guide. He's going to show me how to do it. He's going to take me through the journey. Okay? This is why people jump on our online program, because they understand, hold on a minute, working with Samuel, what he's going to do is he's going to create that framework, which he's already done, and he's going to show us the framework that he's been using in order to buy houses for less than 100,000 from their market value, in order to control properties and generate over £4,000 a month from some of those properties. He's going to share the framework, the blueprint with me. You know why? It's organized information that people pay for. This book, let me tell you something. Most people don't realize this book, University of Success. Let me use this book as an example. The author of the book is said to be Ogmendino. But if you've ever got this book, let me see if in the chat if you've got this book. I've got this book. Just let me know. If you've got this book, say I've got this book. Okay, if you've got this book. But I want to share something with you because I want you to understand the power of what I'm talking about. This book was created a long time ago, guys. Let me give you guys the value. I love my people, man. I love my people. Guys, let me know. Do you love me too? Let me know in the chat. Do you love me too? I love you guys. Let me know in the chat if you love me too. Because if you love me too, then this is even a whole nother level. Because then we love each other. All right. And the moment we love each other, we can get value on a whole nother level. All right. Let me find this because I want my people to know the truth. This is what I'm about. My landmark is truth. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. The copyright notices and acknowledgements in this book are from 1982. I'm going to say that one more time. I think you guys are going to start to see exactly what I'm talking about. The copyright notices in this book are from the year 1982. Okay? 1982 is where the copyright notices are written from in this book. Do you know what that means? That means, okay, that simply means that this book was compiled in or before 1982, which is over 30 years ago. Okay, this book was compiled over 30 years ago. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the power. Here's what I'm trying to share with you guys, because I want you guys to get what I'm giving you right now. If you pick up what I'm putting down, you can change your life. You have not needed to pay for information for years. I had a conversation with someone recently. Some of you are not going to like this, but I'm keeping it real. I had a conversation with someone recently. They said, Samuel, you're going to keep doing this live show? I said, you know what? I don't know. They said, you know what? You might as well scrap the live show. Why do you want to keep doing the live show? Because, you know, people aren't as locked down as they were. You know, you can reach out to people now. People can reach out to you now. Do you really want to keep doing the live show? Let me tell you something, guys. I strongly considered just no longer doing the live show. So I said, okay, let's get at least to episode 70. So now I've hit my benchmark. We may not have the live show anymore. Okay, it's up to you. You're the audience. You're the reason we do this. And KTR says it here. We love you too. So with that love, maybe we'll keep going. But the reality is this. I want you to understand, guys. For a long time, in my observation, probably from around the year 2014, but I'm telling you, it's even from before that, you have not had to pay for information. But let me go deeper and show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is why due diligence is so important. Hopefully you guys are connecting the dots. Hopefully. All right, because I'm gonna connect this to our question for today. And those of you who haven't answered the question for today, the question for today is, what's your favorite color and why? And Mrs. ICanWin, I think, is still the only person who's answered the question so far. Okay, but that's the question of the day. What's your favorite color and why? I want you guys to let me know in the chat, because I'm going to share something with you in a moment. Now, let's jump into this. This book was compiled in 1982, I was saying, roughly in or before the year 1982. Now, this is why I want to share this with you, because I want you to understand the power in this. I said to you earlier, you do not need to pay for information. But I said to you, if you are listening, what you should pay for is organized information. I said there's 3 things you should pay for, and the only one I defined was organized information. The second thing you should pay for in life is accountability, okay? And the third thing, in my opinion, is access, okay? They're the 3 things. Write those down, okay? Oh, I love that. Mandy says her favorite color is black. All right, guys, write that down, please. Write that down. The 3 things you should pay for. Guys, let me tell you something. I'm letting you guys in the back door. I don't know if it was because my nose was running earlier. I have no idea. But I'm letting you guys in the back door of some of the stuff I only teach my 12-month coaching clients right now. And I'm just, guys, again, you know me. I don't hold back. I just share information. If it flows, it flows. Okay? Ooh, Mandy's got it. She said it goes with anything. And I think she's definitely right. You know why? Mandy, do you know why black goes with anything? Okay? Mandy, do you know why the color black goes with anything? I can tell you the reason why. Okay, if you don't know, I can tell you why. Mandy, let us know. Do you know why the color black goes with anything? Let us know. All right, now let me get back onto the point. So what I shared with you guys is that I do not believe that you need to pay for information. And as of the year roughly 2014, from my observation, again, I could be wrong, I don't know, but from my observation, as of the year 2014, we haven't really needed to pay for information. Why is that important? Let me share with you why it is so important. The reason why it's so important that we haven't had to pay for information since around 2014 is because if you are intelligent, wise, mature, sharp, what you start to realize is, okay, if I don't have to pay for information, I still value information, even though I can obtain it for free. What you start to ask yourself, what do I need to pay for? What you need to pay for is organized information. That's the first thing. The second thing is access. You should pay for access. Listen, let me tell you something. If you are a Beyonce fan, All right. I know some people rock to all the single ladies. Okay. I know some people rock to Beyonce. The point is this. If you are a Beyonce fan, for the ladies, if you are a Jay-Z fan, for the men, or maybe still for the ladies, okay? If you are a Beyonce fan and you got the opportunity to access Beyonce, okay, for 60 minutes, for 5 hours, for 24 hours, if Beyonce said, look, I'm doing a private dinner in London, I'm doing a private dinner in New York, I'm doing a private dinner in Milan, I'm doing a private dinner for 5 people, 10 people, 12 people, 20 people, and here's the price tag. This is the price. If you would like to meet Beyonce in your lifetime, what should you do? Let me see in the chat, guys. What should you do? It's a one word which has 3 letters. Let me know what you should do. Let me know in the chat, guys. We're going there. You guys can tell I'm getting in my zone. But tell me, guys, I want to know, what should you do if Beyonce is your icon of the decade? If Beyonce is the person you love, you're passionate about, you're into, and guys, look, tell me if I'm wrong. Who's your role model? Tell me if I'm wrong. Who's your role model? Let me see in the chat. If it ain't Beyonce, tell me who the person is that you need to pay. Pay. Mandy's put it in the chat. I love this. Cosmeo, she's put it in the chat with the bag. Apologies, guys, if you're wearing headphones and I got you right there. Cosmeo gets me all the time, guys. You guys know this anyway. But Cosmeo says pay with the money bag. Hey, that's reminding me of some scriptures right now. Listen, guys, here's my question to you. Who's the person for you? I want to actually know who's the person for you, because it might not be Beyonce. I don't want to be speaking to my audience about someone who it's not. Who's the person? Okay, who's the person that if they were doing a private dinner for 12 people and they told you the price, you would pay? You'd put the money down. Let me know who it is. Let's stay in the area of music. Okay, just to make this simple, let's stay in the area of music. Who's the person, if they were doing a private dinner, 12 people or less, and they told you the price tag, you would pay? Who's the person? Okay, let me know, guys. You see, what you should pay for in the realms of information, like they say, oh, this is the information age. This is one of the reasons why I break down what I'm breaking down, because I want you guys to understand this. You should pay for organized information. That's why I buy so many books. That's why I read so many books, because this is organized information. Ogmendino, this book is a perfect example of this. You can see this from the camera, okay? Your university curricula, that's what it says, okay? Ogmendino turned this book into an actual university for people. And what he's done, if you've got this book, nobody said I've got this book in the chat, so I assume I'm the only person in our community with this book right now. What he's done, he's taken this book and created this book by breaking into semesters, breaking the book into semesters: semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, semester 5, semester 6, semester 7, semester 8, semester 9, semester 10. He's created a syllabus. Now, here's the thing. You jump into the first thing. Let me show this to you guys, because I love you guys. I want you guys to see this. Guys, if you love me, let me know you love me, okay? I know I got, who was it? KTR. Who said that you guys love me. Let me know, guys. KTR can't be the only person who knows that you guys love me. If you guys love me, let me know. Samuel, we love you. Samuel, we're with you. Samuel, we're on your side. Samuel, let's make this happen. All right, guys, we know what this is. Okay, I'm a married man. You know what this is. For those of you with the wrong minds, you know what this is. Now, who's the person you would pay? I need to know that. Okay, I need to know that in the chat. Now, let's go into this. I want to show you this. Thank you, Mandy. All right, now look at this. This says semester 1. Now let me break this down to you. I want you guys to see this. All right, Cosmeo says we love you, bro. Thank you, sister. I want you guys to see this. I want you to understand what I'm sharing with you. Who's the person you would pay for dinner, guys? Who's the person you'd pay to be at their table? One of their 12. Who's the person? Let me know in the chat, guys. You're all telling me you love me. If you love me, guys, give me the food. Let me have the information I need. Beware of no more than of yourself, it says. Okay, we carry our worst enemies within us. Then it says Charles Spurgeon. Hold on a minute. Charles Spurgeon. Wasn't Charles Spurgeon a preacher? Let me ask one more time, guys. Let me put the chat on so I can be with my family right now. Wasn't Charles Spurgeon a preacher? Hold on a minute. This doesn't make sense. Let me make sense of it for you. This book on the front. Oh, apologies, ICanWin. I messed with your flow. Type your name. Type whoever you're going to type. Type whoever you're going to type. You give us some fiery comments, so we give you free reign in the chat. We should probably make you admin. It's that deep. All right, so this book, University of Success, it says on the front Augmendino, but if you see, it says Augmendinos S, this side, University of Success. Augmendino did not write this book. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Augmendino did not write this book. Let me tell you what Augmendino did, or if you know, say the word in the chat. One word starts with O. One word starts with O. What Augmendino did to create this book. Augmendino did not write this book. I just showed you the first title page of semester 1, and it is written, the statement on the front is written by Charles Spurgeon. Let's go further in for you to see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. There's so much in here because I write in my books as well. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll show you this because you guys might not believe me. You might think, oh, it's just the front. He just wrote his name on the front. Let's do this. Hope you guys are ready for value today. All right. ICanWin says David. I believe she's talking about David from the Bible, guys. I do believe she is. Just confirm for us, ICanWin, so everybody knows where we at. Let's do this. All right. So first opening chapter, lesson number 1. You can see I've just marked this whole thing up because there's so much value in here. But I'm going to turn a couple pages and show you something else, just so you see what I'm talking about. Right here. Lesson 3 in Augmendino's University of Success. Who is lesson 3's information all about? It says the person's name right there. Okay. Feeling sorry for yourself and your present condition is not only a waste of energy, but the worst habit you could possibly have. Dale Carnegie. Lesson 3, how to count your blessings. And it goes on. Guys, what am I doing with you right now? I'm showing you something that you didn't learn in school. This is what I do, guys. I'm sure you all know this by now. But this is what I do. This is how I help you become a better creative property investor. By helping you understand you are not taught in school the skill set to actually succeed in the field you're trying to succeed in. You're trying to succeed in property. Let me tell you something. They didn't teach you in school how to succeed in property. That's why Samuel ICanWin is here. I'm here to rescue you from your school education, guys. That's why I had to become a teacher, I guess. I guess that's why I had to become a teacher. Powerful. ICanWin is going in. She's keeping it music. All right. KTR, Mandy, Mrs. ICanWin, Osei Kimwin. Guys, everyone else who's on the stream, let me know. Whoever else is on the stream who hasn't commented, let me know. Who is the person that if they said they were having a private dinner and only 12 people are invited and this is the cost, this is the price, you'd show up? Who's the person? Let me know. I'm interested. And for those of you who haven't answered, I think ICanWin hasn't answered. For those of you who haven't answered, what is your favorite color and why? I've got a couple. I've got black. I've got blue from KTR. I've got orange from Mrs. ICanWin. Let me know in the chat, guys. What's your favorite color and why? Now, let's move on because I want to make sure that this show is value packed. Now, for those of you who have not gone and taken the information that I'm trying to tell you about, go get the Sourcing Blueprint ebook. This ebook is absolutely free, and you can go get that from the link sourcingblueprint.com. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's sourcingblueprint.com. And for those who wanted to write that down for some reason and didn't write it from the screen, the link is sourcingblueprint.com. If you go to that link, you'll be able to go and get your free ebook where I break down exactly how you can find great property deals. That is the link. There you go. And look, with that being said, a great big thank you again to all of you guys who always let me know when you're winning. Okay, the people that go get that ebook and use that ebook and change their property financial life, they're the people that I'm showing that appreciation to. Well done. Keep doing your thing. All right. And everyone else, okay, those of you who've been on our boot camps and got value, those of you who've been on our master classes and got value, those of you who've been on our 12-month coaching program and still come back to the live show because you got value, those of you who have been on coaching calls and got value, guys, any person who's engaged with us in any shape or form, any way, and got value and comes back to speak about it, guys, we appreciate you. All right, so thank you. Also, those of you who have donated to the channel, those of you who have bought stuff from the Amazon wishlist, guys, oh, I'm excited. You guys just got me into excitement mode. You made me think about something. Today we received probably are these my favorite thing? No, I think these are going to be my third favorite thing in the new studio. But today we received the whiteboards, which a little secret is they're not white. But today we received the whiteboards for the studio. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm so pumped. And look, you can tell that I'm naturally a teacher. You can tell I'm naturally born to help other people, because the most exciting thing for me about the new studio is the fact that I get multiple whiteboards to write on and teach and show you guys new concepts or concepts I've been using for years, over the decade, etc. So guys, I'm pumped. I'm excited. All 3 whiteboards showed up. I was just like, I was excited. I am excited. All right. We have also ICanWin in the chat. Purple is the best color. I agree. I love that. I agree. Purple is also my favorite color. I've got about really 4 favorite colors, but purple is definitely the one right up at the top. I think most people think, Samuel, you must love blue. Everything you do is blue. You just blue. No, purple is actually my favorite color, guys. Purple is actually my favorite color. So with that being said, I'm going to throw a link in the chat, and guess what color that link turns if you decide to click on it. I'll stop there. All right, let's keep going. Now, I was sharing with you guys a moment ago that information is not what we need to pay for. I went on further and said to you that not only is information not what we need to pay for, the thing we do need to pay for is 3 other things, okay? So I'm going to share with you what those 3 things are again before we go on to the third aspect of what happens when property deals go wrong. First thing you should pay for is organized information, okay? 1 vote over here for blue and Fred Hammond. Thank you, Ecosmios. I love that. Fred Hammond, musician, who if he was doing a private get together, Ecosmios would be there. Love that. And blue again, so that's KTR and Ecosmios with blue. Love that. Now let's keep trucking. So now, information is not what should be paid for, but what should be paid for is organized information. The second thing that should be paid for is access. And this is how we got into this conversation about who is it in this world you would like to access? Who are the people that you want to sit down with, have a conversation with, etc., etc. So access. The third thing is accountability. All right. And the reason I say that is because when you get high level accountability in your life changes. And most people are looking for change in their life. Most people are looking for, and this is why coaches are so well paid. This is why motivational speakers are so well paid. And this is the thing that's interesting. Motivational speakers do not actually even produce accountability, and they do not even provide accountability, but they get paid so well. Let me tell you this. Hope you're hearing this. Please, please, please. This is something to write down and put somewhere important to you. The reason motivational speakers are paid so well is because they make you feel as though you've been held accountable enough to make a change. Someone just got clarity there. Someone was just about to go to a motivational speakers event and just realized, you know what, I need to pay for Samuel's next event. Guys, I'm just telling you the truth. Motivational, listen, I remember for years, okay, I do presentations, I get invited to church years ago and speak in churches, and you know, even like our Bible studies, I'll do Bible studies. Then property, I used to speak on some heavy platforms. I still speak on some heavy platforms in property. Some of the biggest property exhibitions in the country I get invited to speak at. Now let me tell you something. In all of those things, do you know what I started to realize? Years ago, people started to say to me, Samuel, you're so motivational when you speak. You know, I just feel fired up. Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. Guys, this is just me being very transparent and honest with you, okay? I was not happy about hearing that. You know why? Because when I first got into personal development, 2005, 2004, I started reading a lot of personal development books. I very quickly realized that motivational speakers and a lot of their content was not very life-changing. It wasn't very transformative. It wasn't really changing my life. It was pumping me up. It was charging the battery, but it wasn't changing my life. It wasn't giving me the keys. It wasn't changing or allowing me to open the locks. You see, that's the difference that people need to understand. Motivation is great. Motivation is actually great, but motivation is not the same as accountability. Accountability will give you access where you can start changing some locks. You can start opening some doors. You see, it's funny because, again, those of you who are like me, Bible readers, the Bible says, behold, I will give you the keys to the kingdom. Okay? Keys are what you need. All right? I hope everybody understands that. Keys are what you need, not just batteries, not just being charged up. You need keys. You need information that is organized, and then you need strategies which come through accountability so you can use the key, turn the key, unlock the door. Now, that was a massive detour from today's episode, but I know you guys have got a lot of value from that. If you got value, let me see the word value in the chat. Now, let's go into the last part of what happens when property deals go wrong. What do you think is the crucial due diligence that you need to do? Let me know. If you're watching on replay and you've watched this far, well done. You're definitely part of the Impact family. You better hit subscribe. You might as well press that like and also hit the bell notification, because I don't see how you're going to be joining me for over 1 hour and 28 minutes and not hit that subscribe button. Something's wrong up in there. Something must be wrong up in there. You gonna sit with me for 1 hour and 28 minutes and not subscribe to the channel? Okay. So guys, I see those comments coming in. Thank you guys. Thank you, my family. I love that. Value in the chat. Value in the chat. Let me see if there's some more value, guys. If you guys are getting value from today's episode, let me see. It's episode 70, guys, which is why I'll do the detour. I'll break down the principles about what you should be paying money for. Should you pay money for information? Samuel ICanWin says no. Should you pay money for organized information? Samuel ICanWin says yes. All right, guys, hope you understand that. Now, let's go deeper. The third aspect of what happens when property deals go wrong. The third aspect of what happens when property deals go wrong. Okay. Hope you're ready to go. What do you think is the crucial due diligence? If you're watching on the replay, let's know in the link in the comments below. If you're with us live, let us know in the live chat. What do you think is the crucial due diligence that needs to be done? Okay. What do you think is the crucial due diligence when you're dealing with a property that needs to be done? I'd like to know. Okay. Now, it's funny because a lot of people think there are different types of due diligence which are the most important. I'm just going to tell you right now, okay? The most important due diligence to be done when you buy a property is the numbers. Okay? It's the numbers. Settled, done, 100%. Pin in the balloon, it's gone. Okay? The most important due diligence that needs to be done when purchasing a property, when taking on a rent to rent, when doing a lease option, when taking on an option agreement, when saying to yourself, you know what, I might be able to run service apartments from this, the most crucial due diligence that needs to be done on a property opportunity is the numbers. Okay? Now, why am I saying this to you? Well, firstly, I'm saying it to you because it's the truth, but let me give you some examples because I want you guys to be equipped with when I share information. One of the most powerful ways you see that is this. Let's go back to this story I shared with you earlier from what happened in Kent. The family that was asked to kind of move out of their house, or had to move out of their house because the house was flooded, and they complained that, you know, they weren't given any information that there was a flood risk with the house, etc. Check this out. You see, if that family did what I teach in the sourcing blueprint, let's put that up so you guys know what I'm talking about. If that family did exactly what I teach in this resource right here, if they followed the 4M formula, if they followed the sourcing blueprint, and they ended up acquiring a property way below the price it was supposed to be sold for. Okay, I hope you're listening. I hope you understand this. When the house flooded, it wouldn't have been as much of a drama for them because they would have known, listen, I bought this property having done the numbers and factored in this could happen and that could happen because I did my due diligence properly based on starting by making sure the numbers made sense. Now, because I did that, I ended up getting a deal or a bargain. And because I got a deal or a bargain, yes, the house is flooded, but the reality is every other house on the street is flooded too. So tell me this. Look, I hope you guys understand this, because some of you don't get it. Some of you are like, Samuel, I don't actually get what you're saying yet. Let me give it to you. You've got two houses side by side, both next door to each other. House number one, let's say they're exactly the same, direct comparables. House number one is worth 300,000. Whoopee. House number two is worth 300,000. Whoopee. Someone buys house number one for 300,000. On the same day, someone else buys house number two for 270,000. It doesn't have to be a massive discount. That's just a 10% discount. Okay, small discount, 10% discount in the example I'm giving to you guys. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now, you've got someone who's bought a house for 300,000, another person who's bought a house for 270,000. We're saying they're exactly the same house, effectively. They're direct comparables. That's what we're saying. Okay? Here's where the rubber hits the road. Now, with both of these houses being the same, and one person being able to acquire a property for less than the price the other person acquired the property, when that road floods and both of those houses flood the exact same way, who do you feel or think is going to be in a more upset position? Who do you think or feel is going to be more devastated and distraught? Who do you think? Let me even put it this way. Let me make it simple. Let me pull out the emotions from it. Because, you know, the impact, the psychological, emotional impact that would occur when someone's in a house that's flooded is going to be immense. It's probably similar. You might not understand this, but it's probably similar to when somebody burgles a house. And after a house is burgled, the people feel like, oh, I can't go back in the house. I just feel like I can't go back in. Like, I don't know if someone's going to be in there. I don't know if someone can break in again. I don't know if someone's going to break in when I'm in there. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable sleeping there. Okay. Anyone who's ever had a house burgled or knows someone who's had a house burgled, you know what I'm talking about. The feeling of distress, the feeling of unease, the feeling of, safety being taken away from you. Like, it's immense. And someone having a house that they live in and the house being flooded, I can assume is probably very similar, because it's like something's occurred which they couldn't have stopped. Something's occurred which they didn't know how to prepare for. And I understand how that article ended up in the paper in the first place. And I also equally understand how it ended up out of the paper, because you can't publicize stuff like that and make it seem like this family is a victim family. Because if you do that, then any person who buys a house and works out, oh, I didn't buy a good deal, can come back and complain and say, hold on a minute, let's take you to the papers. Okay. And that's not how things should work. But the point I want to make, and I want you guys to really understand, is that due diligence that needs to be done, that scenario, that situation that we're talking about, as distressing as it may be, as distraught as it may be, the person who paid £270,000 for the house and knows they paid £270,000 for the house, which they know is less than other people having bought their properties on the road, I guarantee you that person is going to slightly feel better prepared for what happens next. They might still feel negative. They might still feel upset. They might still feel hurt. They might still feel whatever, like they didn't expect it, whatever. But the difference is they could potentially be better financially prepared to make the remedial work. They could potentially be better financially prepared in order to make the changes necessary. Why? Because they made their money when they bought. Okay, you know that principle, guys. I've been talking to you about it for years. We make our money when we buy. Guys, hey, so much value. Let me know in the chat, guys, what your thoughts are from what we've shared. If you're watching on the replay, let us know in the comments below. What was your big takeaway from tonight's show? What have you heard and been like, you know what? That Samuel guy's making sense. I feel that. I'm gonna write that in the comments. And guys, for those of you who are with us live, this is where I'm at. It's the live audience that I'm here for, first and foremost. So guys, let me know in the chat. I'm gonna put the chat up on the screen as well right now. Let me know in the chat right now, what was your key takeaway from today's session? What have you heard that was like, oh, that stuck out to me? You know what, Samuel, you got a good point. That's a powerful point you made there. What was your key takeaway from today's session? Now, as you guys tell us what your key takeaways were from today's session, I'm going to be throwing some announcements out there so you guys can continue to rock with me and the Impact teams. Now, the first announcement is, I mentioned it earlier, we are considering putting on a masterclass probably near the end of this month if we are going to go ahead with it. Is this of interest to you? If this is of interest to you, all you've got to do is write the letter I in the chat. I. And as you write the letter I in the chat, I stands for interested. I know that you guys are interested in probably finding out how I can help you achieve way more cash flow in your property investing business. So let me know, guys, by signifying with the letter I in the chat that you're interested in potentially attending one of our masterclasses, which will come up probably near the end of the month if we go ahead with that. Now, side by side with that, and again, let me say this about the masterclasses. In the past, I've done masterclasses with lots of people on. I'm not really planning to keep doing that. So we're going to probably be having a masterclass with a how can I put it, with a limited amount of seats, and I'm just being honest with you guys. Reason being is I want to work with specific people, and I've got to that place where I can make that choice. So it is what it is. So guys, if you are interested, let me know you're interested. Don't be one of those people who sit on the sidelines. Oh, I'm kind of interested, but I don't know. Just put the I in the chat so we know that you're interested, because the reality is if you get one of those seats, you're going to get a lot of value. So let's see if you want to do that. Now, also ICanWin says in the chat, due diligence was the key takeaway, and also I for the interest in the masterclass. Thank you also ICanWin for sharing and your participation. Now, for those of you who don't know, we did our 21 days of your property investing success in January of 2021 for 21 days straight. Okay, so if you are interested in learning really about property investing success and property investing, secrets to help you move forward, what you can do is you can just click that link I've just put into the chat, the live chat. For those of you in the live chat, those of you who are watching on a replay, the link is in the description, impactproperties.co.uk/day one, and that will take you to our playlist, which will play for you all 21 videos, one after each other, back to back to back to back. Now, the great thing is, if you're subscribed to the channel and you hit that link, when you stop halfway through your video on day 2 or day 3, YouTube knows you stopped halfway through your video on day 2 or day 3. So when you come back to it in a 3 or 4 day period, it will start playing from where you left off. Now, that's a great thing that YouTube does for us. So guys, thank you to YouTube. Now, additionally, in the 21 days of your property investing success, I speak about this book. I speak about a lot of books, guys. I speak about a lot of books. KTR knows what I'm talking about. I believe KTR and a few people after the 21 days of your property investing success told me that they actually started a book club because of how many books I recommended. But I did recommend a myriad, a flood of books. Why? Because I love you guys and I want to help you change your life. I'm trying to turn you guys every which way but loose. And some of you know exactly what I mean when I say that. Now, besides that, some of you have that heart, have that spirit of giving, and you say to yourself, you know what this guy does, he does too much for the community. He's out here every Saturday leaving his children, leaving his wife in order to come and give us some value. So guys, let me tell you something. If you want to say to us, hey, Impact Properties, hey, Samuel, ICanWin, we love you and we want to put our money where our mouth is, you can use that link that I've just thrown in the chat right there, impactproperties.co.uk/donate. Let me come back with that one more time. That is impactproperties.co.uk/donate. You can donate any amount. I think you can even donate like 1 pence. But again, if you are getting value, show the value, guys. Show appreciation in some way, shape, or form. This ain't about money. This ain't about how much money. This is actually just about you guys, and you guys being able to put some kind of physiological acknowledgement with all of this chat and just say, you know what, I'm feeling this. You know what, he's giving me value. You know what, I got more from this live show than I got for the course I paid £2,000 for. How can I not drop a coin? So guys, use the link impactproperties.co.uk/donate in order to get value. Now, I was gonna put our Facebook group link in the chat, but I'm not going to do that. The reason why is because we're probably going to be deviating from that Facebook group soon, or adding a whole bunch more value in that group. So if you're interested in being a part of that group, again, jump into the description, hit the link, go and join the group. The admin team are very good at letting people in as long as you answer the questions, and they'll let you in. Now, the reason why I'd encourage you, if you want to join that group, is because there's a lot of value in that group. There's a lot of videos I've done, a lot of series I've done in that group. So there's so much content in that group. However, because the group is free, people don't really engage in the group, okay? And this is why sometimes I move away from all this free stuff, because my coach told me years ago, and I still believe it till today, those who pay attention. That's why I paid £30,000 to jump on a coaching program. That's why I've paid £20,000 in the past to jump on a coaching program. That's why I've paid a coach £3,000 for 1 day work. This is why I pay, because I want to pay attention. Those who pay attention. And if you're one of those people like myself where you spent 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 on coaching, training and development, you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because you start to see the whole world different. You start to say, you know, I can do this. I can give this for free every single week. You know why? Because I see value. I understand what a value really is. Value is not just the information. Value is actually the organized information, the access and the accountability. Someone is picking up what I just put down. Now, guys, I think that's some powerful announcements I just shared with you guys. Let me round up by saying this, guys, as we start to wrap up tonight's show. If there was a specific key takeaway that you got and you'd like to share it with the rest of the community, let us know in the chat. If there was a specific thing that you heard and you were like, you know what, Samuel, that was the bombshell for me today, write it in the chat, guys. Let us know. Key learning. My key learning is, or today I learned. Just let us know. Because by you sharing your key learning, what you're actually doing is you're letting other people understand what was the nugget for you. And then they let you understand what was the nugget for them. And as we all let people know what's the nugget for us, we all expand and grow even more. That's why people have mastermind groups, because shared value is always more than singular value. I'm going to say that one more time. That's a line that will preach, as my wife would say. Shared value is always more than singular value. So guys, I want you to make sure you're getting some shared value. Let us know in the chat, in the comments, in the live or in the replay. Comment below what was the key thing you took away from this show, episode 70, which might be our last one. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. I got Samuel Cole in the chat. He says value as always. One more time. He says value as always. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, just wrapping up, guys, let me encourage you to go and watch this video right here, where if you have not seen this video already, in this 8-minute video, I break down to you guys why so many people cannot sell their home. And I'm telling you, listen, if you haven't watched that video, you are actually missing something out from your property investing arsenal, because in that video, I effectively give you the key to start to understand exactly why some people are perfect motivated sellers for you and I to make more money, for you and I to do more deals, for you and I to change our life using property to build our cash flow like never before. So like I said, if you haven't already, go watch this video right here, why you can't sell your property, straight after this live show, and leave a comment on the video to let us know that you got value. With all that being said, I'm Samuel ICanWin. I want you to remember that small keys open big doors, and as I usually say, happy investing. I'll see you on the next one.